Rather than fighting for African liberation, rather than pushing the program of revolutionary Pan-African nationalists across the world for our people, shouldn't we unite with the other people of color in the world to overthrow white supremacy? The question is, should we unite with other non-white groups of people? Should we unite with non-Neanderthal populations? Should we unite with other melanated groups of people? Non-African, but also non-white. Should we unite with people of color to overthrow white supremacy? Should we unite with people of color to overthrow white supremacy? The answer is absolutely not. The answer is there will never be a multicultural union that includes African people. There will never, ever, 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 ever be a multicultural union that includes African people. Chinese do not live under white supremacy. In fact, Chinese might be the only non-white group in the world that does not live under white supremacy. China is the one country that is not controlled by the European. Probably the only country in the world. Every other country, in some way, shape, or form, is either European itself or controlled by the European. China. So China isn't going to join your multicultural union because China doesn't need to. They're the second largest race in the world behind the African, but unlike the African, Chinese have organized economic power. Unlike the African, Chinese have organized political power. Unlike the African, Chinese love being Chinese. Chinese love being Chinese, which is an outgrowth of the Chinese Revolution that Mao Zedong led, which he borrowed from the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Yes, Garveyism liberated China. Yes, it did. Garveyism liberated China. Yes, it did. So the Chinese are a cultural force, a political force, an economic force. They are the Walmart of the planet Earth. China is the #1 producer of small arms. China is the #1 producer of cheap goods. China is the world's producer of bootleg high-end merchandise. They cannot lose. China has made the planet Earth dependent on them for their survival. Unlike us, they have their own distribution. And although they are religious, being Chinese is more important than any religion that they practice. The best interest of Chinese people is more important than Islam. The best interest of Chinese people is more important than Christianity. The best interest of Chinese people is more important than anything else. Unlike you. For the Negro, and I'm speaking globally, I don't care if you're a continental African, an American African, a Caribbean African, a Canadian or Australian African, a Central or South American African, religion is more important to you than your people. The white man took away your cultural identity. He took away your culture and he stuffed it with religion. He switched it out for religion. And the importance of the black family has not regained priority over religion yet. Your religion is still more important than the freedom of black people. The Mexican is not going to unite with you. You saw the white man use the Mexican to keep the Haitians off the border. The white man used the Mexican to keep the Haitians off the border. The Mexicans are not going to work with you, and they don't like you any more than white folks do. Chinese don't like you any more than white folks do either. So when you talk about this multicultural union, when you talk about this coming together of non-white people, which group wants to be equal with black folks? Which non-white group wants to be equal with you? You have to name it. Do the Mexicans want to be equal with black folks? No. Chinese want to be equal with black folks? No. Arabs want to be equal with black folks? No. Who wants to be equal with black people? Do you realize that almost every other group wanted to be classified as white when they started immigrating to America? Are you aware that almost every other group wanted to be classified as white and went to court, fought in court to be white, but they lost? So you mean to tell me the same non-white groups who come to America and fight for the right to be white somehow miraculously now want to align themselves with black people, the most despised group in the country and the most despised race on the planet? The Mexicans wanted to be called white, they lost in court. Chinese wanted to be called white, they lost in court. East Indians wanted to be called white, they lost in court. Latinos wanted to be called white, they lost, and instead they called them Hispanic. Hispanic is the name that the U.S. government gave to Spanish-speaking Africans who did not want to be lumped in with the rest of us. So how is it everybody who came to America wanted to be classified as white, and now all of a sudden they want to switch sides and fight for black folks? Help me understand. Help me understand. Nobody wants to fight with you. Nobody. Nobody, no non-white group is going to risk their reputation with the white power structure to help black folks. But let's back up for a minute. Let's back up. Let's back up for a minute. Let's back up. Hit the Cash App, $ FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $ FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $ FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Now, the Arabs were involved in slavery before the Europeans were. The Arabs were involved in African slavery before the Europeans. And the Arabs are still involved in African slavery right now. Now, the Chinese were not involved in the African slave trade, but they do have some relatives known as the Hyksos. Some historians would argue are the forerunners to the Asiatic people, the Chinese, and the Hyksos were involved in African slavery before the Chinese. Nobody likes you. You have no friends. Multiculturalism is a joke. If you believe that multiculturalism is real, show me. Show me any group that has ever practiced multiculturalism with African people. Show me. Who has ever practiced multiculturalism with us? Who? First of all, nobody practices multiculturalism. One thing black people need to understand. Every group on this planet wants to control this planet. Let me say it one more time. Every group on this planet wants to control this planet. Let me say it again. Every group on this planet wants to control this planet. We are in a global fight for which race is going to run the earth for the next millennium. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Does everybody understand? The white man has basically been running the planet for the past 500 years. Chinese man is in position right now where he might be taking over soon, especially if he continues to colonize Africa. Africa is the key. Whoever controls Africa runs the world. Africa is the key. Whoever controls Africa runs the world. Africa is the key. Whoever controls Africa runs the world. That's why the Chinese man is laying siege to the mother continent. And to my African leaders right now, I'm disappointed because not one of you have stepped up to help our Haitian Africans at the border in Texas. I am very, very disappointed. The Haitian border crisis in Texas is an embarrassment to the Pan-African movement. The Haitian border crisis in Texas is an embarrassment to the Pan-African movement. The Haitian border crisis in Texas is an embarrassment to the Pan-African movement. All these African countries, and none of them are doing anything to alleviate the Haitian crisis at the Texas border. I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed for our movement. I am embarrassed for African people. I am embarrassed right now that none of these African nations are doing anything about the crisis, the Haitian crisis at the Texas border. We should be ashamed as a race of people. We should be ashamed. Every group in this world, every racial family is selfish. Nobody cares about the next group. Nobody. White man don't care about the Arabs. Arabs don't care about the Europeans. Europeans don't care about the Mexicans. Mexicans don't care about the other Latinos. Those Latinos ain't think about the Chinese. The Chinese ain't think about Africans. Nobody give a damn about Africans. We live in a world of competition, not collaboration. Why can't y'all get this through your heads? We live in a world of competition, not collaboration. Why can't we get this through our heads? Nobody wants to collaborate. They want to control and dominate. When you study world history, where have you ever seen collaboration amongst the races? Where? Where? They might collaborate temporarily to beat a bigger enemy, but there's no such thing as permanent collaboration. Everybody's looking for their opportunity to dominate this planet. Nobody wants to share nothing. And nobody wants to share with you. You're the oldest people. You have the richest continent, which is why I don't understand why you Negroes be letting these sovereign coons and aboriginal coons and foundational American coons and all this other nonsense try to convince you that you're not from Africa. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm trying to understand why people who have a birthright to the richest continent on the planet, you have a birthright to the minerals of the richest continent on the planet Earth, and you letting these self-hating Negroes convince you that you're not from Africa. And they have no proof, only theories. All you have to do is roll up your sleeve and give blood. We can find out where your DNA come from. See, we have science today. We don't have to be stuck on ideological arguments and philosophical discussions. Pull up your sleeve, give some blood, and let's find out if you're African or not. There's no need for a discussion. I don't have discussions over things that can be proven scientifically. We can prove scientifically if your ancestors came from Africa or not. That can be proven right now today. We don't need a philosophical discussion. We don't need a philosophical discussion. But here's the bigger question. If you don't come from Africa and you are from America, What is your solution to white supremacy? Because I haven't heard one yet. I haven't heard a single I'm not from Africa Negro articulate a political economic plan to rid themselves of white supremacy. I'm still waiting to hear that. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. To the I'm not from Africa community, what is your solution to white supremacy? Reparations is your solution to white supremacy? Reparations is not a solution. Reparations is a handout. It is a justified handout. It is restitution for unpaid African ancestral labor, but it is not a solution. So if you're telling me reparations is your solution, you a damn fool. If you're telling me reparations is the solution, you a damn fool. Reparations is not a solution. How can reparations be a solution? Nothing your oppressor gives you can ever be used to overcome his oppression. Nothing your oppressor gives you can ever be used to overcome your oppression. Nothing your oppressor gives you can ever be used to overcome his oppression of you. Never, nothing, nothing. Reparations can't benefit you because you don't have any system in place to circulate the wealth or resources that the reparations is supposed to give you. You have no infrastructure. You have no institutional reality whatsoever through which the wealth and resources that you get from reparations can be circulated back through the African village. Reparations is not a solution. Anybody telling you reparations is a solution is a fool or traitor. And stop pushing separation. Stop pushing separation. Separation is reactionary. It's not proactionary. Proactionary is independence. Push independence. Patrice Lumumba pushed independence. Kwame Nkrumah pushed independence. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey pushed independence. Alexander Crummell, Henry Highland Garnett, Edward Wilmot Blythe, and not separation. Separation is reactionary. When you have independent institutions, independent communities, when you have independent resources and independent banks and independent hospitals and independent schools and supermarkets, black people will automatically go to where they belong. The reason you keep pushing separation is you don't have nothing to give your people. See, you have to push separation when you don't have nothing to give your people. When you have an independent reality for your people, they will voluntarily go to the institutions that serve them. We don't need separation. We need independence. Separate to what? That's the question. Separate to what? You're already separated in the ghetto. You're already separated in the ghetto. You're already separated at your HBCUs. You're already separated in the prisons of America. You're already separated. What you don't have is independence. What you don't have is independence. And in order to get independence, we have to build institutions. In order to get independence, we have to build institutions. What celebrity is building an institution for the race? I'm sure there might be some. I'm not aware. Does anybody know of any black entertainer, athlete? Can somebody name an entertainer or athlete who's building an independent institution for our people? Can you name somebody? Can you name somebody? Can you name somebody? I don't know of anybody. I don't know if Al Sharpton is building any institutions. I haven't heard. I don't know if Roland Martin is building any institutions. I haven't heard. I don't know if the Congressional Black Caucus is building any institutions. I haven't heard. I don't know if LeBron James is building any institutions, Oprah Winfrey building any institutions. I haven't heard. Maybe they are. I haven't seen any celebrity. I haven't seen any celebrity. Peace and love, sisters. How y'all doing? All right. I haven't seen any celebrity step forward and say, I'm going to build a line of banks or a bank, a line of schools or a school, a line of supermarkets or a supermarket, a line of hospitals or a hospital, a line of manufacturing centers to put black people to work. I haven't heard none of that. The critical institutions that must be built by African people, I haven't heard anybody talk about. I heard Akon got an Akon City. I hope it ain't being financed by Chinese loans. Shout out to Akon. I support you, but I hope Akon City is not being financed by Chinese, because it ain't Akon City no more. It is Shrimp Fried Rice City. No disrespect to my brother. Akon City, I hope, is not being financed by the Chinese. I hope. Somebody please tell me my brother Akon isn't financing Akon City with a line of credit from the Chinese. I'm talking to my Senegalese Africans. I'm talking to my Senegalese Africans. I can't wait to get back to Senegal. I haven't been to Senegal in a minute. 2016. I got to get back to Senegal. I'm talking to my Senegalese Africans. Can somebody please confirm that Akon City is not being financed by the Chinese? Please confirm that. Please confirm. Akon City is not being financed by the Chinese. If they finance it, they own it. If they finance it, they own it. It better not be Chinese, Akon. Akon, it better not be Chinese, my brother. You can't do that. That ain't nothing but colonialism in disguise, my brother. That is nothing but colonialism in disguise. Akon, you can't do it that way, my brother. You can't do it that way, my brother. I'm wearing the stones of the slave dungeons in Ghana around my neck. These are stones. This chain was made from the stones of Elmina, Cape Coast Castle Dungeon. But brothers and sisters, stop looking for an easy way out. There is no easy way out of oppression. That's what's wrong with the African, and that's what's wrong with the American African. There's no easy way out of oppression. You keep looking for an easy way out. That's why it's oppression. That's why people go to war. People die for this. People get killed for liberation. There's no easy way out. It takes sacrifice, struggle, organization. It's no easy way out. They bringing the Afghanis over. Now you know why. They bringing the Afghanis over. Now you know why. They bringing the Afghanis over. And then they said they got $6 billion of unspent money for the Afghanis. You got $6 billion of leftover money for the Afghanis. You got $6 billion of unspent money left from the Afghanis. But you ain't gave black folks reparations. You ain't fixed the black schools. You ain't built no new black schools. You ain't gave us no black hospitals. You ain't building no jobs for black people. But you got $6 billion for the Afghanis. They didn't pick 1 yard of cotton. They didn't pick 1 yard of cotton. They didn't fight in not one of your wars, but you got $6 billion for the Afghanis. They didn't pick 1 barrel of cotton. They didn't die not one of your wars, but you got $6 billion for the Afghanis. So let me tell you how they're going to use this $6 billion. The Afghanis are the Negro replacements. The Afghanis are the Negro replacements. The Mexicans, they have too many Mexicans. They got to slow down on the Mexicans. They got too many Mexicans. They got to slow down on the Mexicans. So now they got the Afghanis and they're going to use the $6 billion to help the Afghanis get a foothold in America. They're going to use the $6 billion to help the Afghanis get a foothold in America. They're going to use the $6 billion to help the Afghanis get their homes and their cars and their jobs and their businesses. And since black people don't want to take the vaccination, since black people don't want to take the vaccination, you're going to be replaced with the Afghanis. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. They about to replace us Afghanis, Mexicans, East Indians, Chinese. It don't matter who. It don't matter who. They will bring anybody to this country to replace the Negro because you are the only non-white group. You are the only non-white group. You are the only non-white group who cannot be deported. You can't be sent home because y'all don't believe you from Africa. They can't send you home. How they going to send you home when you say I'm not even from there? They can't send you home. And even those who know you African, the white man destroyed your psychological connection to the mother continent. You have no relationship with your family. They can't deport you. That's why they had to keep the Haitians out. That's why they fighting to keep the Haitians out. Now they letting them in. This is America you love. This is America you celebrate every 4th of July. This is America that you proudly defend. This is America. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been working on this for decades. They've been working on this for decades, brothers and sisters, but we will not learn. When is the black man and woman going to get up and do something proactive? I'm tired of us reacting to racism. Why do we keep reacting to racism? All we want to do is react to racism. The white man got to do something in order for you to do something. That's bad business. That's bad politics. The white man got to do something before you do something. That's bad politics. You mean to tell me the white man got to do something against you in order for you to do something for you? That's horrible. That's what the late, great Dr. Huey P. Newton called the inertia of the Negro. That's what the late, great Dr. Huey P. Newton called the inertia of the Negro. That's what the late, great Dr. Huey P. Newton called the inertia of the Negro. You don't do shit for yourself. You don't do anything until the white man does something against you. And when the white man does something against you, then you want to do something for yourself. That's a damn shame. And I've told y'all time and time again, the reason black folks are so comfortable being oppressed, the reason you are so comfortable with the white man's foot on your neck is you are waiting for the white man to finally accept you. You are waiting for the white man to finally accept you. You are waiting for the white man to finally accept you. Your imam and your preacher, has convinced you that this world is ran by the Bible and the Quran. I said your imam and your preacher has convinced you that your world is ran by the Bible and the Quran. I said your imam and your preacher has convinced you that this world is ran by the Bible and the Quran. And because you think you live in an Islamic world, and because you think you live in a Christian world, you are sitting around waiting for the white man to become a good Muslim and a good Christian and to finally accept your black ass. And I'm here to tell you it's never going to happen. I'm here to tell you it's never going to happen. You waiting for the white man to wake up and say, you know what? I am sorry. Black people are waiting for a deep, honest, sincere. Black people are waiting for a deep, honest, sincere, heartfelt apology from the man who has had his foot on our necks for 500 years. You're never going to get that apology.